Here we go. Says it's still sending data. Let's see if it's working yet. Oh, I'm online. Hello there. My name's Anne-Marie McCormack, and I'm the broker of McCormack Realty and Renters Choice Homes. And we're located in Kissimmee, Florida. And it is July 31st, 2020. And today we're going to be talking about maintaining your rental home. There's lots of people that own rental homes in our area. It's a very popular area for buying investment properties. So if you have an investment property in our area, congratulations. Yes, it's great. Most people buy an investment property in our area with the idea of retiring in Central Florida in years to come, or spending 6 months of the year there. For some people, the dream becomes a reality, and for others, it doesn't quite get there. The shine goes off Central Florida and they want to be closer to home or someplace else, and that's okay. Um, I used to be a short-term rental business owner. I was in short-term rentals from 1991 to 2004. 1991 to 1994, I worked for other people. And from 1994 to 2004, I worked exclusively for myself in my own company. So there's not much about short-term rentals that I don't know about. And there's not much about long-term rentals I don't know about, because from 2004, we switched. I sold the short-term rental company and we stayed exclusively in long-term rentals. But if you need any help and advice about your short-term rental, send me a message. I'm more than happy to give you advice or give me a phone call. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about maintaining your home today and why a stitch in time saves nine. Things that will help you get the best out of your rental home. Let's start with A's. A is for AC. Make sure that if you're a short-term rental, that you have a program in place with your current management company where they change that filter every month. Because if there's dust on that filter, if there's more than a month's dust on that filter, it's going to clog up your system. If your system is clogged up, it means it works twice as hard, which means a bigger electricity bill for you, but it also means more wear and tear on your system because it has to work sometimes 2 and 3 times as hard. And the more choked up with dust it becomes, the harder it has to work. It's kind of like running your car on empty constantly. Once in a while you can maybe do it, you can maybe squeeze those extra 10 miles out of it, but it shouldn't be done all the time. So whether you live in your home, whether you rent your home out to tenants, or you have it through a short-term rental company, make sure that that filter gets changed every month. What we do with our tenants at McCormack Realty and Renters Choice Homes, we provide them, when the AC company goes to service the AC, we provide them with a box of filters that is exactly the right size, and the air conditioning tech shows them, just in case if they're not doing it properly, shows them how to change the filter. He also talks about how putting vinegar water down or some bleach water into the system will also help keep it clean, because people want good clean air. So as well as it being filtered, it needs to be good cleaned. So a yearly tune-up on your AC can get many more years out of it. We've had homes come to us where the AC's been in terrible shape. The platform it sits on is all warped and bent, and it looks like it's been condensating for many years, and it's leaked a number of times, and that shortens the lifespan of your AC dramatically. Typically, a good AC can last you 12, 15, even 20 years. I've had some last as long as 22 years. The typical lifespan is around 15. We've had some that's lasted as low as 8 years. Sometimes it's because of faulty parts, and sometimes it's because of poor maintenance. So make sure your AC is tuned regularly. And don't turn your thermostat down too low. Some people think, oh, it's hot, I've come in, just crank that thermostat way down. It's not going to get any cooler any quicker. So set your AC to 78 degrees if you can have it that hot. If you have to have it cooler, have it set to 75. Don't have it set lower than 75. Because if it's 95 degrees outside and it's 75 degrees inside, you really don't want it more than 20-degree change from the outdoors to the indoors, because that encourages, when you have it more than that, it can encourage chest infections and things of that nature. So it's best just to have a 20-degree temperature change or less from outdoors to indoors. So there's your AC. If your AC sometimes just goes off for an unknown reason, flick the breaker. In Florida, the breaker switches can be off and still look like they're in the on position. Normally, you find the breaker box in the garage in a grey little metal door in the wall in the garage. You lift the latch up, and it comes open, and there's all your breakers. So a quick tip: if your AC's gone off, before you call an expensive company to come out and take a look at it, flick that breaker on and off a couple of times, wait 15 minutes, check your filter, and if your thermostat has a battery as well, some thermostats have batteries, check to make sure that the battery doesn't need to be changed. All these things can save you expensive call outs. Change that filter every month. If you have tenants, make sure that they're doing it. And when you have your guy go and service your AC every year, he's going to know whether that filter's been changed regularly or not. And if it's not being changed regularly and it breaks down, if you're a long-term rental homeowner, you shouldn't be paying for the cost of the full pull and clean, as we call it, unless it's been 3 to 5 years since you've had a pull and clean. Pull and clean is a thing that we do on ACs, and every 3 to 5 years your system needs one. But if it's only been a year since you've had a new system put in and it's getting all choked up, chances are those tenants are not changing the air conditioning filter. Anybody that's lived in Florida for a long time knows to change the AC filter. They know it's going to keep their bills down. They know it's going to be good for them. And they know it's going to keep the air cleaner, and it's going to be easier on their pocketbook. So we've gone from A to ACs. B, we've got anything beginning with B? No, we'll go to C for clogs. Clogs, let's go for clogs. Watch the clogs in the drains. Don't try and put hard skins down the waste disposal. With the waste disposal, if you can eat it, it can eat it. It doesn't eat bones. It doesn't eat potato skins. It does not eat onion skins, and it does not eat eggshells or anything like that. Make sure those go in the trash, in the bin, okay? So be very careful, because you don't want to clog your drains up. Do not put anything down those toilets except toilet tissue, and don't put wads and wads and wads and wads down. Frequent flushing, if you like to use lots of toilet paper, is probably the better way forward than trying to flush like a quarter of a toilet roll down there, because it ain't going. The drains in Florida are narrow, so you have to be careful what you flush down them. Certainly no wipes. None of these baby diapers, kitchen towel rolls, none of these sanitizing wipes, none of those are suitable for flushing down the toilets in Florida. The drains are narrow. The only thing that flushes down it is toilet tissue. That's it. And use it sparingly. Okay. Frequent flushing. So let's go. We've gone from drains. Oh, and if you've got a drippy tap, make sure that that gets taken care of too, because that can add up over a month's time. And so can a toilet that runs too. That can add a huge amount of money to your water bill. So any kind of leaks or drips, make sure that they're taken care of immediately. If you're a tenant living in a home, make sure you call the management company, because you're going to end up with a high water bill. If you are a short-term rental homeowner, you're going to end up with a high water bill. You're going to go, oh, there's a high water bill. Oh, well, the vacationers didn't let us know. Well, the vacationers are going to be quite slim on the ground at the moment, aren't they? So just watch all of that, okay? So we've talked about your toilets. We've talked about your drippy taps. We've talked about your drains. Fans, if you have fans, if you have ceiling fans, um, in the summer they go one direction and in the winter they go the opposite direction, because one direction brings the heat down and keeps the place warmer, which is what we need in winter in Florida. And in the summer, because heat rises, doesn't it? So we want it to come down. And in the summer, we want it to go the other way to make sure that the place gets cooled. Now, we used to say that fans only cost us a penny an hour to run. Maybe they call us tuppence an hour to run these days. But they don't cost a whole lot of money, and they do keep the air conditioning costs down too. So windows as well. Make sure your windows are closed. Make sure your sliding glass doors are closed. Now, if you're a vacation rental homeowner, you could put some nice stickers on your windows, on your sliding glass doors. You could put lizards on them and frogs on them and cockroaches on them and flies and mosquitoes. You could have all these kind of funky stickers and you could put them on your glass doors and you could say, keep me closed to keep these out. And I guarantee those vacationers will not be air conditioning the pool area if they think that a lizard's going to come in, or a frog's going to come in, or a snake's going to come in, or a cockroach is going to come in, or ants are going to come in, or mosquitoes. They're going to keep those doors closed. Because, you know, quite often when you go into a vacation rental home, if the pool doors aren't alarmed, and some of those alarms you can switch them off, the doors are open and people are sat out there and they're just air conditioning the neighborhood and they're not caring about the electric bill because they don't have to pay for it. So when you pay for the electric bill, you keep the door closed, don't you? You really do. Locks as well. Make sure that your windows lock. Make sure that your windows open and shut properly. If your windows open and shut properly, then you are complying with the health and safety regulations. If your windows and your doors do not open and shut and lock properly, you are non-compliant with health and safety, and you could lose your license. Now, whether you have, when you have a vacation rental, a holiday let, you have to have a hotel license, which means it has to be inspected by the hotel inspector. You have to have a business tax license. You have to pay sales tax on every rental to the state. And then you have to pay bed tax or resort tax to the county. So that's a lot of taxes to pay, and that's a lot of checks to pay. And if your pans are scratched, throw them away. They're not sanitary. Everything has to be sanitary. Everything has to be pristine and in tip-top condition for a vacation rental home. Otherwise, if the hotel inspector comes to your home, she could close you down. She could. For a long-term rental, there are no sales and resort taxes to pay as long as the lease is 6.5 months or longer. And at our company, we just do yearly leases. They're all done by an attorney, and we don't do anybody less than a year lease. And they're renewable as long as the tenants keep the homes in good condition. When you're renting long term, you need to inspect and check. You need to make sure that they're keeping the home in good condition. You need to have the pool professionally serviced. So if you have a swimming pool, do not let the tenants do it themselves. You can let them cut the grass themselves if you want, but you must make sure that they are fully aware that that lawn needs to be watered and that they need to do the weed and feed on the lawn too. Because within a couple of weeks of mole crickets or chinch bugs getting on your lawn, it can eat the thing up. Now, you may be lucky enough to have the HOA do your lawn, and in which case the sprinkler systems and the lawn service is probably included in your homeowners association fees. And if you've got that, great. But if not, make sure you're getting regular updates and photographs to make sure that these things are being attended to properly and regularly. Your pool. Your pool needs to be serviced. If your pool isn't serviced weekly, and the motors on a pool will last 1 to 3 years, the pumps last 1 to 3 years, depends if they're running dry. And by that, what I mean is that the water needs to be topped up. There needs to be no leaks. And if there is a leak on the pool, again, it's going to cause extra wear and tear on the other equipment. It's going to have to work harder. So the other stuff's going to wear out a lot quicker. If you have a vacation rental, make sure that you're getting a yearly inspection, a maintenance inspection, so that you know what needs to be done. Spending a little each year will help save you money in the long run. The exterior of the home needs painting every 7 to 15 years, depending upon the type of paint that you use outside the home. You might just think, oh, paint's paint, but it's not. We have what we call elastomeric paint in Florida, which means it expands and contracts with the heat. That is far more durable than typical exterior paint. So it's more of a coating and it's going to last longer. It's not going to cost you that much more to get it painted with it, maybe a couple of $100 for an entire home, but it's worth it. It really is worth it for you in the long run. Um, Inside the home as well, if you have a vacation home or a long-term rental home, for vacation homes, every time a new family comes in, it's got to look like it's new. If it doesn't look like it's new and they come in, they're going to think, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. Excuse the French. So why should we? So they won't be careful. If they go into a home and the carpets are pristine and they open the cupboards in the kitchen and there's lots of pots and pans and glasses and knives and forks and spoons, their first instinct is, oh my God, all those dishes, all that washing up, let's go out to eat. If they open those cupboards and they go, oh my God, there's hardly anything in there, the first instinct is, how on earth am I going to cook here? There's 3 pans and a frying pan and there's 8 plates and there's just nothing much to cook with. So they're going to feel disgruntled. So we want them to feel, if you've got a vacation home, that there's just way too much washing up to do. They don't want to do it. They just want to go eat out, or they want to bring takeout on the way home. Um, because what happens with these families is the last morning that they're there, the day before that they leave, they're thinking, all this food that we bought in the fridge, let's have a big fry up. Let's just cook everything up. And they just make a big old mess. So the more dishes, the easier. And it's always a good idea to plan out your kitchen properly as well when you have a vacation rental. So, for instance, the glasses on the first shelf, you should have those close to the refrigerator, the cupboard closest to the refrigerator, and the ones at eye level and the ones that you can reach easily should be the plastic ones. Should be the ones that look like that they're glass, but they're actually vinyl or plastic, because those are the ones that people are going to use all the time. They're probably going to take them out on the pool deck. They're probably going to give them to the kids. And they're probably going to get the most wear and tear, so you're going to get the best bang for your buck out of those. The fancy glasses, the nice wine glasses, the nice highball glasses, put them on the top shelf. They're harder to reach. They're harder to reach. I might not get them down. I might get the ones at eye level instead. And it's still eye candy when they open the cupboard and they're there for you when you come on vacation. But people are not going to use them as much, are they? A good thing to do in a vacation rental as well is to put some spare batteries in the drawers, light bulbs, uh, screwdrivers, posi drivers. I always used to have a multi driver in, in the drawers in the kitchen, and like a spare belt for the vacuum cleaner and vacuum cleaner bags and things like that. And we're not asking, and a small set of step ladders, we're not asking anybody to do anything. But if there's a screwdriver in a drawer in the kitchen and one of the legs comes loose on the coffee table, some guy or some lady is just going to get that screwdriver out and tighten that leg right up. If the battery starts going off in the smoke detector, somebody might use the little step ladders and change it instead of calling out maintenance, because they do not want to be having the idea of somebody else being in their home while they're out at the parks all day. And that's something else as well. If you have a good vacation rental management company, they'll check things like that in between rentals. They'll have the same cleaners clean your house day in, day out, so that those girls or those guys will know exactly what your home has and how it was the last time that they were there and what it needs. And they'll be able to keep a good eye on it. My girls, when I used to have vacation rentals, I used to find that the flower arrangements had moved. And you used to think, what? Who's moving the flower arrangements? And Karen used to say, well, I think it looks better on that particular section than on this one. And I like it better on that counter than I do on this coffee table. And I used to say, okay, let's leave it where you like it. Because obviously my housekeepers were taking pride in these homes. And I was happy with that. And sometimes the owners, when they come back in, they go, why did that floral arrangement get moved? And I go, well, the cleaner likes it better in that place. Well, it's our home. We'll move it back while you're there. But when you're gone, she's going to put it back where she likes it, where she feels that your home presents best, because she cares about the way that your home looks and how it presents to people coming in. Now, when you're doing long-term rentals, you don't have to provide furnishings. Uh, it's better if you rent a home unfurnished, just with the appliances. Things like the washer, the dryer, the fridge, the refrigerator, the freezer, the range, the dishwasher, the waste disposal, carpets, blinds. That's what you need in a long-term rental. You do not need sofas, beds, things like that. You don't want them. Because if all somebody needs is their suitcases to move in, then they're not established in the area, are they? And if they're not established in the area yet, maybe they've just moved to the area. Maybe they can move out in the middle of the night too. Because people want to move to Florida. A lot of people want to move to Florida because they think that everybody's sweet and nice, and everything's wonderful, and it's a great place to live. But it's a hard place to live as well. It's not always that easy to earn a living in the Sunshine State. Wages are traditionally lower than what they are in the northern states. And if you've got a seasoned long-term rental manager, that's exactly what you need. You don't need to be one of these big companies with nameless faces, and you do not want your short-term rental manager renting out your home long-term either. Because they'll, when somebody wants to apply for a long-term rental home, they're going to be on their best behavior. They're going to be so nice and so sweet. And your short-term rental manager is probably really nice, but they probably do not know what checks and how to qualify somebody properly. It's kind of like asking a plumber to do an electrician's job. They might just be able to do it, but they might make a bigger mess and cause you a load more money in the long run. So get the proper specialist to do the proper thing. Make sure that whoever you're hiring, if you're doing long-term rentals, done it for a number of years. They have quite a few properties. They've got a great system in place. They're established, and if they've got staff, that the staff are long-term too. Because if staff keep changing, ask the manager that you speak to, how long have you been with this company? How long have your colleagues been with this company? How do you feel about working for this company? Because, some of these companies, they have huge staff changeovers because they expect a lot out of their staff, and they don't pay them well, and they don't treat them well. So if they don't pay their staff well and they don't treat them well, chances are your home is not going to get treated well either. So make sure that you choose a home that's going to look a property management company that's going to look after your home as if it were their own. There's always a fine balance. With our company, we have 4 different programs for you to choose from. We have from a cost cutter program to bumper and everything else in between. So we know that some people like to do some things themselves because they live locally, and that, if they can do that, that will save them a buck or two. And we know we have our investors that live overseas that couldn't do anything for themselves, and they need somebody that's going to have their eye on everything for them. They need somebody that they know that is going to care about their home. And at McCormack Realty and Renters Choice Homes, your peace of mind is our bottom line. Everything we do is transparent, it's online. You can see your bills for your home. Some companies never show you your bills. We show you your bills. You can see your bills anytime you want. They're there 24/7. You can see photographs of your repairs. You can see photographs of before, photographs of after. And if you want to call the vendor, if you want to call the AC company to inquire more about the AC bill, go right ahead. That's what they're there for. That's why you have access to your bills. You have access to everything 24/7. And all you got to do is pick up the phone and ask us questions, and we're there to help you. So let me think, is there anything else I didn't talk about maintenance? Don't defer your maintenance, get it done. Make sure if you're doing the lawns yourself that you're doing weed and feed at least 3-4 times a year on those lawns and gardens. Make sure they're being topped up with mulch too. Um, Make sure that your sprinkler systems are in good working order. Mostly they have plastic heads and they become brittle and they break over time. They don't cost that much to change a brittle head on a sprinkler system. It doesn't cost that much at all. So we've talked about your pool maintenance, we've talked about your garden maintenance, we've talked about your ACs, your plumbing, your heating, oh, your appliances as well. Your appliances need to be serviced too as well. So, you know, your dishwasher, they're kind of a bit indestructible and they typically last about 10 years. The refrigerators, their water lines get clogged. So if you have ice and water through the door, do know that the water lines do get clogged. They get clogged up with mineral buildup over time, and sometimes the water dispensers break, and that's just down to wear and tear. It's nobody's fault, really. So I guess that's all I've really got time to talk about today. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, and please hit the subscribe button. Please like us and enjoy. And if you have any questions, please call me. That's what I'm here for. Subscribe, like, send me a message, call us up, ask us for help. We do rentals and we do sales. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.